Hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Hookup Jar. I'm Tristan Jacob, the serial dater.
Oh my god,
Alright, hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Hookup Jar. I'm Tristan Jacob, the serial dater.
And I'm 4 shots deep into the first date, Liam Deck.
And today we're going to be talking about dating and relationships. Liam, when you ask someone out, how do you do it?
I don't. Next question.
Alrighty, well, that was quick. I guess, alright, so for me, I guess asking someone out, you definitely want to find some sort of, a common ground, for sure, and, something that you'd both be interested in. A first date, I think, should always be, a coffee or a lunch, maybe not necessarily something so serious, like a dinner. That's some serious.
Kind of just like a getting to know you kind of stage.
Right. So, lunch is a great idea. Take somebody to a good cafe, bookstore.
Would you call that a pre-date, or would you call that a first date?
I think I'd call that a date.
Because a lot of people I know will do that as a pre-date, where they'll usually meet in a coffee house just to make sure the other's not a serial killer, and then usually they won't text me back. But for other people, they consider that the first date, and then afterwards they'll go on more serious dates as long as it works out.
Right. I agree with that. I'm good with that. It's I don't want to waste your time. I don't want my time wasted. Time is valuable.
And you want to make sure the person's not actually 3 hamsters a wig, so.
Right, yeah, 100%. 3 dudes in a trench coat, not my thing. Cute girl, we can talk.
I'm sorry, 3 dudes in a trench coat. That's a Friday night. I'm trying to think of the last time I actually really asked someone out rather than just kind of messaging, doing it in person. Okay, so dating apps are very different from in real life.
Oh, yeah.
100%. So dating apps, I'll say I'm usually the first one to initiate conversation or be the one to be hey, why don't we actually meet up?
Okay.
But in person, I tend to be a little more reserved, so I usually wait a little bit for them to come to me, which often doesn't happen. But
I mean, that's the issue with this day and age and dating apps. A lot of people just live their life through these dating apps.
It's so bad. Not even dating apps anymore, just social media in general. Do you know how many people have met through Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatnot? My coworker, her current boyfriend, they met through Instagram.
I'm all for that. That's great to meet people. I'm 100% an advocate. Meeting people is awesome on these apps and stuff. But there's a whole world behind that, if you're not looking at a fucking screen.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole world out there, and there's so many things that you could experience, and, I don't know, there's something nice about, going on dates and, enjoying the person and, all that stuff, and not just conversing, or conversing, rather, through these stupid apps.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I will say, when I'm online, I tend to be a lot more shallow. It's just based on appearance,
your personality, so and I mean, I'm generally speaking, your personality online is way different than your personality in, real life.
Oh, God, yeah.
So on a date, because I usually initiate it, I will be the one to pay.
See, my thought is always the one who initiates should be the one who pays. So whoever asks out is going to be the one who should pay.
Agreed.
Regardless 100%. Of gender or any of that.
Agreed. But, usually I'm the one that makes the move. So, I always pay for, the first one just because, it's how I was raised. It's how I am. Stuff like that. And, old habits die hard. But, I have no problem splitting. I have no problem if, I pay one time, you pay another time.
When you've known each other for a while. I don't... To me, splitting on the first date, I don't know why. Maybe it's like you said, it's an old habit or it's an old preconceived idea or something. But
right.
I don't know. To me, splitting on the first date, I mean, it's sensible. It's economic. So.
Right. I mean, I always pay on the first one anyway. But I don't think that there's any harm in splitting on a first date.
Yeah. I actually like the idea now more for first dates is when you're meeting someone to do either a picnic, and maybe not like cooking at each other's house for the first time if you don't feel comfortable with that, but like I kind of like those things that are a little more involved and a little more personal rather than like
Right, like
fabricated.
you bring something, I bring something, like that kind of deal.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
like very simple. Like it's a good way to get to know them, and if it's not going well, you can kind of just bail and leave your picnic basket, and just Yogi Bear will take care of it. So
Right, yeah. Just leave the whole goddamn container. Like, don't even give a call back. I
oh,
feel it.
throw the basket at them and book it. Like just get on the bus and just keep going. Doesn't matter
100%.
where you're going.
100%. Is it okay to sleep with someone on the first date?
I've been kind of teetering back and forth with this idea. I don't think it's awful, but I don't think it's an immediate good start. Because again, people work differently. But for me, I think that should be something that comes a little more time after you've built a deeper connection. Because some people, that could be their sole goal. And now they're like, oh, I've gotten what I want. I'm going to bail.
I'm
Whereas
out.
if you've built more of a relationship, it's kind of like, oh, there's more to this person than just that.
Right. I agree with that. I'm not mad at that answer. As I said, like being trans, like I need to have a lot of trust with somebody.
Yeah.
I am to have sex with them. And I've had sex on a first date way too many times that like I'm not even like happy about it. But like I think, whatever happens, happens. Like I trust very easy, unfortunately, and stuff like that. So like a lot of the time I mistake like, oh, this is a good person with like, oh, they're just being nice because they just want to.
Yeah. That's also
You
the problem
know?
is you're like, are they just being nice to get what they want? Is this how they actually are? So that's why I said after a few dates, because then you get to know the person a little more. And
Right.
always people say be on your best behavior for your first date. I say be on your worst. Show them everything. Bring out everything. You murdered a guy, you let him know that on the first date. You're a thief, steal their purse and run. Steal their picnic basket, just book it. Just do the worst things you can. Just show them who you really are.
Right. Sure.
I mean, this is probably why I'm single, but still, I'm honest. I mean, can you blame me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I used to do it where like when I was talking to somebody online, I would be very prim and proper and like I would hold back a lot. And now I've gotten to that point where it's like I'm not going to punch them in the throat and steal their kidneys. It's more like I'm just going to kind of show them like, as you know, living with me, I can be a little
This
wacky
is
sometimes
me.
and spontaneous and yeah. So I want them to know what they're getting into rather than being like,
Right, because you
oh,
don't
that's
want
a
to waste your
surprise.
time and you don't want them to waste their time. I
Exactly.
get that. I'm 100% for that. That's why I shoot the shit like way before anybody ever should. So after how many dates are you in a relationship?
I think it depends because a lot of people will be like, oh, it's not a real relationship until after 3 months or 6 months or so. I think it depends, kind of like a friendship of just like how well you guys connect and like how well the relationship forms.
So like time means nothing.
Yeah, for me, I will say, because there are people I've known for only a couple months who I would consider closer friends than people I've known for years, just
Right.
because the personalities mesh so differently. And you can just tell sometimes with people you meet, you're like, this is a person who I want to know more about. I want to spend time with. I want to get to be with them. So honestly,
Right.
I think it's the personalities and how well they mesh.
I agree with that. I could be down with that.
Yeah. That guy Brady I saw back in I don't know 2016 or maybe 1986 I don't remember. Um, it was after 3 dates right before he went away to the weekend with the Girl Scouts. I actually it was that Monday when he was supposed to come back. We had another date planned, and that's when I was going to ask to like be official.
Right.
But then I think the Girl Scouts kidnapped him and probably murdered him. So I'm still not sure.
R.I.P. Brady.
Rip. Actually, I just checked his Facebook. He's still alive and he still looks good, and I'm not happy about it. So
God damn.
I know. I like looking up my exes. I will say I stalk them on occasion to see if they've gotten worse, and all but one have gotten better, and I'm so mad. And like, what am I doing wrong? Did I not like poison their water enough? Did I not like cast enough curses and spells? Like,
Okay. I guess not.
ugh, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
So how many relationships have you been in, Liam?
Technically speaking, one, and that was high school and college. It was the same guy.
Okay.
We broke up for about a year in between.
I'm trying to count how many I've been in. A lot. More than I want to be in.
Oh God.
8
Or-
maybe.
Oh, okay, that's not awful.
8. Yeah. Yeah, 8. 2 of the girls I've dated are married. 2 of the girls I've dated are now engaged. And God only knows what happened to the others because I don't talk to any of them ever again.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to meet the man of your dreams, date me first, and then you will find him, I promise.
Oh my God, Tristan, is this like a proposal? I mean, like, come on.
Only for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How do you feel about dating the same person? Like on again, off again situations.
I've had those too. On
Okay.
again, off again just proves that you guys should not be in a relationship. I don't care what anybody
That's my
says.
thoughts. Yeah.
I don't like. And
If you break
I've
up,
learned
you break
that-
up for a reason. And if you keep breaking up, there's a reason.
I've learned that. Like, you know, I've had multiple relationships where, you know, like we break up, we get back together, we break up, we get back together. It's very on, it's very off. And like, it's emotionally and mentally draining. It's physically draining. It's just like, if it's not working out, there's a fucking reason. Somebody somewhere is telling you why it's not working. Listen to them and stay out of it if that's what's happening.
Yeah,
Maybe
because I
get
hear
back
about
up as friends. Maybe you have growing up to do. Maybe the other person has growing up to do. Maybe you both have growing up to do.
So, if you do have to break up with a person, what are your tactics for doing it?
I think honesty is like the biggest thing.
Okay.
Like, if you are not honest about how you're feeling, about what you think moving forward, if you try to be very blunt, do not beat around the bush because it's not going to end well. Like, I was always the type to beat around the bush and be like, listen, like, I don't think it's really working. Like, maybe someday, but like, meanwhile, I know it will never work out a day in my life. And then the person would just cry and I'd feel terrible and then I'd like continue.
See,
So-
it's kind of like a Band-Aid. Like, you have to rip it off and then just pour lemon straight into the wound and then rub it with salt. Like, just
Exactly.
annihilate it.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
you need to rip it off, keep it off. Like, do
No,
not.
no. I am joking, but also it is like what you were saying is you cannot give them false hope that something is going to happen. When you say like, oh, maybe one day, then they're holding on to that saying, okay, maybe one day, and then they kind of infatuate and like obsess about it. And it's problematic. You just got to say, listen, this isn't working. I'm sorry. Like, just end it there. Again, whatever things you need to get out, that's not working.
This is for like second dates. Like, if you are not feeling it after the first date, do not be like, oh, I'll see you next time. Like, no, it's done.
Oh, God.
When on one date, it's done.
Usually, if I'm on a bad first date and we're ending it, I'll usually pull the, well, thank you, I had a good time. Unfortunately, I don't see us doing this again. And just kind of end it there.
And
it's tough to do, and it's kind of a sucky feeling, but honestly, it's so much easier because the next time you see that person, they're going to be a little upset, but they're not going to hate you. They're not going to be mad that you ghosted or you bailed or you...
Exactly.
Anything, yeah.
You just got to rip that Band-Aid off and call it quits.
Yeah, and also I will say it's better to do it in person almost always. There are a few situations 100%. Where like a phone call is fine. Don't do a text. Don't do an email. Don't write it in the sky. And
don't
a
write it on a
pigeon
Facebook
would
wall.
be kind
My
of awesome.
brother has done that. Oof. My brother wrote that he was breaking up with his girlfriend on her Facebook wall this one time.
Oh, that's a big no.
Oh yeah, that was like do not.
I will say, when I was 17 or 18 working at the bakery, I tried quitting. God, it took me like a month to quit because every time I went to quit, the bosses were not in. And I couldn't just quit to anyone because they were my higher ups.
Right.
So I kept trying to go and they wouldn't answer. And then I tried calling them, they wouldn't answer me. And then I tried emailing them, they wouldn't answer me. Finally, the only way I got to actually tell them I was quitting, I did a similar thing where I went on their page and I thought I was sending them an email. It was to post on like Yelp or something, a review. And it was a long essay about how I'm quitting and the reasons why I'm quitting. Oh, it was so bad.
Oh,
yeah, it was like 2 days later, they're like, yeah, you don't have to come in anymore. And I was like, thanks.
Oh, Liam.
Yeah, that was bad. So, and remember, when you're on a first date, Dress just like an essay. Make sure you cover the subject, but leave them wanting a little more. Thanks for watching the Hookup Jar.
Be sure to like and subscribe down below, and keep watching us every week. Thanks so much, guys.